Okay, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us this evening. It looks like we have Charlie Gibson on. Thank you for joining us. My name is Shara Taylor. I am an urban development specialist at MDHA. We're also joined by the Director of Urban Development, Joe Kane, the Assistant Director of Urban Development, Matt Loftus, and the Administrative Executive of Urban Development, Kristen Deal. This will be a pretty quick presentation, but we would like to hear your feedback on how you think the Skyline Redevelopment District is performing. You can also type any responses you have into the chat. So the agenda for tonight is to go over a brief history of the Skyline Redevelopment District, discuss existing goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, talk about the future of Skyline, and share the next steps after this meeting. The Skyline Redevelopment District was established in 2007, and it is scheduled to end in 2037, so it's a 30-year plan. When the district started, the appraised property values were 24.6 million, and as of 2021, they were about 102 million, excuse me. This is a more detailed map of the redevelopment district. As you can see, Dickerson Pike runs down the middle. We go about a block to the east off of Dickerson Pike, and then on the west from Dickerson Pike to the interstate. And up from the interstate to Douglas Avenue. So now I'll go through the objectives that are laid out in the redevelopment plan. Just to give you an idea of the goals of the redevelopment plan and to get you thinking about how well those goals have been achieved so far. So the first objective is harmonious land use patterns. And when you think about this, think about it like you're building a city with Legos. Do these Legos go next to each other? Do they fit together? Do they make sense in this organized fashion? And think about whether or not you think Dickerson Pike makes sense. Are the land uses harmonious? Do they work well together? Objective B is redevelopment of the project area, where non-conforming or deleterious land uses preclude orderly assemblage and desired changes in the use of the land. That basically means we want to create an environment where development is encouraged and where it's relatively easy to make it happen. Objective C is to eliminate substandard property. If you go up and down Dickerson Pike, you'll see different buildings that have been vacated, like this one that's boarded up, or vacant lots, or buildings that can use a little love and care to make them have better curb appeal. Objective D is to clear and provide for redevelopment. So areas that have the potential for redevelopment, we want to make sure that they have the ability to build what they want to build. If that requires a change in land use type on the parcel or the intensity of the land use. Objective E is to assure the future stability of Skyline Redevelopment District. This is done through a number of ways. MDHA has the design review committee that meets every 2 weeks to review projects that are coming online in the district. We also have the land use plan, which lays out what uses are allowed and what uses are not allowed in the district. We have the general design guidelines that help us determine whether or not a project fits within the redevelopment plan. And at the city level, there's Nashville Next that guides the development along the corridor. And for Dickerson Pike, they have an East Nashville community plan that covers the area. Objective F is to provide for relocation if that becomes necessary. Objective G is to eliminate and prevent blight. And again, we do this with the design review committee, the general design guidelines, and the land use plan. Objective A is to eliminate vacant lots. There are a few vacant lots I saw on Dickerson Pike that could be used to build new development that would make the area more active and more engaged. We also want to revitalize commercial uses. Of course, Dickerson Pike is primarily a commercial corridor, so it's important that it has viable businesses along the street that appeal to current residents, that appeal to visitors, possibly tourists, anybody who wants to go to Dickerson Pike and utilize the commercial services there. Objective J is to provide for new public improvements. That could be new sidewalks, new street layouts, that could be moving power poles, anything that makes it more, makes it easier to get redevelopment done. Objective K is to enhance historic preservation goals along the Dickerson Pike corridor. And that is the last objective that is in our redevelopment plan. And from here on next Thursday, February 24th, we'll have a follow-up meeting where we will discuss in detail our tax increment financing program, also known as TIF. And my colleague, Matt Loftus, who oversees that program, will be here to present and answer any questions that you may have. And if you need to contact me directly, you can reach me here at my email address, staylor@nashville-mdha.org, or on my direct line at 615-252-8540. And that's all I have, unless my colleagues, Joe or Matt, would like to add anything.
No, I think we'd just like to hear from you, Mr. Gibson, and what your thoughts are, and what is it that we can do or that you'd like to see.
Yeah. Hey guys, Charlie here. Thank you all for putting this on. I'm a broker here in Nashville and also a property owner on the corner of Dickerson and Cleveland. And I'm just more out of curiosity. This is in the second half of last year, I brokered 4 to 5 transactions south of Trinity Lane that are going to add about, I think, give or take, right around 3,000 new multifamily units to the supply line. So I think the Dickerson Pike corridor is already moving dirt, if you will, no longer pioneering like it was, in my opinion, 3 years ago, or pre-Oracle announcement. Main question I have is, as far as the Skyline redevelopment plan, what is the correlation with the Dickerson Pike South Corridor study? And for the map of the Skyline on the front page, it's sort of a pocket that's also has been steered for the corridor study that sort of lays out and supports density really sort of west of Dickerson. And obviously you're dealing with neighborhood associations with Cleveland Park and Highland Heights. But I'm curious, are there any changes forthcoming for the better or for worse as it relates to correlation between Skyline redevelopment district map as well as the Dickerson Pike South Corridor study?
You're talking about the study that's being conducted by planning. Right now, we don't have any plans to make changes to the redevelopment plan. Mm-hmm. And we've spoken to planning in the past, but not recently. But we do communicate with them when they're studying an area and they're trying to find out more about how the redevelopment district has performed or what the redevelopment district still needs. But on our end, we don't have any forthcoming changes.
Okay, understood.
I mean, I think obviously as Oracle gets developed and River North there gets developed and all the proposed infrastructure that's coming in there, you know, and some connectivity that's proposed under that as well. I think you'll see some more forthcoming, but with that right now is being left with the planning department and the mayor's office right now, as that continues to kind of play itself out as to exactly how that'll take place.
Understood. That was more just a question, if you will, if cadence changes with anybody that is looking to develop on Dickerson Pike as it relates to the Skyline area, you know, with dealings with Sean Parker planning, neighborhood associations, et cetera. If there's another task as it relates to MDHA or stepping stone, if you will.
No,
So-
we do work closely with planning. And they try to keep us in the loop about what they have going on, but it's been a while. I was actually going to those meetings that they were holding about Dickerson Pike just to be in the know.
Understood.
As far as this, sorry, this is Matt Loftus with MDHA as well. As far as sort of additional tasks go within development along Dickerson Pike within our Skyline redevelopment district, we have a, I think Sharon may have touched on it a little bit, but we have a design review committee. So anytime an exterior permit is pulled, there's a design review process, and it has to new construction. It's not a whole lot different than it's just a overlay on top of base zoning. And you have to go through the design process and make sure that it sort of checks on sort of some of these objectives that Shara discussed.
Understood.
Any other questions?
I think that's really it for now. Just looking forward to the next meeting, but I appreciate your time tonight. Philip,
Thank
this
you
is
for coming.
without a doubt. Had no clue I would be the sole person having an audience of 4 to from MDHA to myself here. So
Yeah, you have the spotlight on you.
there you go. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.